Bonnie, talk in the mic.
Talk in the mic, you still can't hear me? I don't know how to talk anymore than there. Is that better? I'll just talk with
Yes, stay like that the whole time.
Is this one's on too?
Yeah.
Well, I think everybody probably knows what Firefox Add-ons are. They're just small little extensions that you add on to your browser to enhance the capability of the browser. And it allows you to do a lot of customization. They're very easy to install, very small applications, and there are a ton of them. This is just a website for the Mozilla Firefox page. And if you look at the ones on this page, a lot of times you'll see links to the add-ons on other websites. If you go to the ones from the Mozilla page, you can be sure that the folks at Mozilla have edited them all and make sure that they're all safe and secure and they do what they're supposed to do. There are a handful of extensions that you'll find here that are labeled experimental, and that just means that they're too new and they haven't been reviewed yet. So you have to click on this little warning that says, I understand that there may be some security issues. Like I said, they're very easy to install. They take up not a lot of room, and they're pretty easy to uninstall if you decide that you don't want them. You just go to your Tools menu, click on Add-ons, and you have the option to either disable them temporarily or uninstall them. I'm guessing most of you probably already know all this. A couple of weeks ago, when I was kind of working out what I was going to talk about today, I Twittered a message asking if law librarians had any other add-ons that they would recommend. And wow, I got a huge number of add-ons, most of which I had never heard of. So there's no way that I'm going to be able to talk about all those really cool add-ons today. I put them on the AALL Computing Services SIS wiki. So you can find my list, the whole list of everything that everybody suggested to me I put there. I did find a couple that people had recommended that I will talk about today. But primarily I'm going to talk about these citation add-ons in detail. Jureeka, CiteGenie, and then Zotero, which I'll be spending most of the time on. And then Zots is a small add-on for Zotero. So we'll start with the easiest and the most simplest one first. Jureeka, basically what it does is it takes a website that has legal citations in it, but that aren't linked anywhere, and it adds in the links. So let's go to an example. This is just a web page from the Encyclopedia Britannica. And if we scroll down a bit, we can see here are some citations down here. And they've got these double underlines on them. That's how you can tell they're Jureeka. And if I hold over one, you can see at the bottom, you can tell that it's going through Jureeka. And it's directing you to sources of public law that are available on the internet. So like Public Library of Law, Justia, a couple other sources. This will work with federal statutes, legislation, and regulations where those materials are freely available on the web. It also covers some state and agency regulations, things like that. A little more spotty just because those things are not freely available. So if we click into one and see where it takes us, and it takes us to Cornell. Now there are some problems with that. You can see here where it's talking about USC section 2281. It doesn't understand that 2284 is also a legal citation, so it's really only as good as the website is about putting the true citation. It's got about a 92% accuracy rating, according to the statistics that I saw. We have installed this on all of our public workstations at the University of Wisconsin, and I haven't really gotten any comments on it because it's so seamless. I think that most people don't really understand that the author of the website didn't actually put those links in. So I guess no news is good news. Nobody's complained about it. So. All right, the next one is CiteGenie. And CiteGenie's been around probably about 6 months or so. It was developed by an attorney out of South Carolina who created it on a bet with another guy in his firm who said he couldn't do it. Basically what it does is it allows you to copy text from inside of Westlaw or Lexis, or a couple other websites, like I think the New York Times and the Washington Post. You copy the text, and then when you go to paste that text into Word or an email or WordPerfect, it depends on the Bluebook citation, the proper Bluebook citation, with the pinpoint citation to the page that you're on. So let's take a look and see how it works. Okay, so here's a case from Westlaw. And you can see, note here, this will come into play. It's got a red status flag. So we'll scroll down and we'll take some text from the case itself, right-click, and hit copy with CiteGenie. And right away it's telling us, if we hadn't noticed it already, that caution, there is a red flag, so you've got something to be aware of, some sort of negative indirect history. And this is what it's going to paste. So you can see at the top part was the actual text that I captured. But down here at the bottom, it's added on the Bluebook citation. So we can see it's 128 F sub, and then the pinpoint citation is 470. Another thing to know, also it's telling us again here, there's a red flag, so it's warning you about that status. And down here at the bottom, it's telling me that I'm using the Wisconsin rules, because I'm from Wisconsin. Whenever you install CiteGenie, you tell it what jurisdiction that you're from, and it will automatically know what rules your local court uses. Even the jurisdictions where the rules are a little more unique, it's got a pretty good accuracy rating for those. So I'm going to go into Word, and I'm going to paste that in. So you can see it's pasted in with the pinpoint citation just right. So this is a handy little tool for people doing research, brief writing. It's got, right now, if you install it, this is the only one of the things that I'll be talking about today that is not free. There is a free 90-day trial. After that, it's $15 for a license, and you can install on up to 3 computers. I talked to the developer, and he is willing, yes.
Sorry, how much again?
$15, you can install it with 3 computers. But I was just saying, I talked to the developer, and he is willing to give a free license to any law school that wants it. So he hasn't figured out how to do the whole firewall, how to get it to work, because obviously law schools have a lot of restrictions. So he's still working on that, and he told me when he gets it figured out, he'll email me, and I'll Twitter it and put it out there and blog it, so hopefully others will catch how to do it. But basically, he said he's going to require that you have some sort of letter to him, an official law school letterhead that states what your IP range is. And his name is Robert Biggerstaff, and he really would like to get feedback on this. He said very few people have contacted him about it, so especially from law librarians and this kind of group who's a little bit more tech savvy. He would love to hear your comments and if you've got ideas for future development. Okay, Zotero. Zotero is probably my all-time favorite tool, certainly my all-time favorite Firefox add-on. What Zotero allows you to do is to capture, manage, and create your legal citations, or more than just your legal citations, any kind of citations, and create bibliographies, create footnotes, all sorts of this. Zotero is a free add-on from George Mason University, and it's probably easier to show you than just try and explain it. So if we go to the Zotero website, zotero.org, there are 2 versions that are available right now. One of them is the stable 1.0, and then there's also the 2.0 beta version. Most of the neat stuff that has come out within the last little bit that I'm going to be showing to you is the beta version. And I haven't encountered any problems with stability, so I would recommend just going ahead with that. Once you install it here, it will show up at the very bottom, right down here, this little button. And all you have to do is click on it. And it opens up inside of Firefox itself. And it uses a 3-pane window. It's designed to look a lot like iTunes, and it functions a lot in the same way as well. Over here we can see my collection. So this is all the things that I've created. And when I choose my library, this is all of the citations that I have captured using Zotero. I can then sort them into these smaller folders here as well. And what I do, I use this when I do reference quite a bit. If I get a faculty member asking, can you give me a bibliography or compile a list of sources on X topic, or I want to see all of the book reviews for this book called Nudge. So what I do is I create a folder for the faculty name, and then inside of there I create subfolders with the particular research assignment that I'm working on. So you can see here I reviewed the book Nudge, created all the book reviews. And then here are the items, all the items in that folder. And if I click on one, over here on the right opens up the information about each particular item. So title, author, etc. Okay, and if we can, it's easy to open and close. There's this small little X button that will close it. Or if I open it up again, I can drag this window to any size that I want. So I'm just going to close it. Actually, no, before I close it, we're going to create a folder for Callie, and we'll just go through and do a live demo here. So I'll go back to my library, and we're going to create a collection. So over here, there's a little button for new collection. I'm going to create a folder called Callie, and then we'll just start putting stuff in, and I'll show you how to input the data. So I'll go first to WorldCat and get a book to put in. And we'll search for Foreign Digital, since we heard about that today. Okay, you can see up at the top here, it changes to a little folder icon. And that means that it's telling me that there are items on this page that you are able to capture. So I could just click on individual items here if I wanted to, or I could select the whole list. But I'm going to cancel that. And I'm going to actually just select, since this is the only one on the list that I want, I'll show you what it looks like if you're on an individual item. You can see now it's a book. So all I have to do is click there, and you can see down here at the bottom, it's saving that item for me. And if I go into Zotero, I can see what that looks like. So here's my Callie folder, and now I've got my item in there. And it already knows from the catalog itself what the title, author, everything. It pulls all that information in automatically. If I want to add a note, I can. So I can see, I can add that in. And then those notes are searchable, and I'll show you how to do that. If I've got an attachment that I want to add, it can be any kind of attachment, word, sound, video. I can also add tags if I want to. And I know we talked about social networking. Add that in as a tag. And then the related tab is if there are two items in my collection that are somehow related to one another, I can kind of add in a bridge there so that if I do a search on one, it will pull the other. All right, let's go and get some other things to populate our collection. So I'm going to go ahead and define online. I'll go to the library. Search. Social networking, which I ran a little earlier. Okay, so you see here I've got the little folder icon again up at the top. If I click on that, let's just select them all. Hit OK. And you'll see them start to populate on the bottom there. So it takes a little while to pull them all in, but it should get finished. Now this does work. It works for pretty much any library catalog. It works for High Online. It does not work for Lexis and Westlaw, but they're working on it. It's because it's behind that password wall that they need some people to help figure out how to create those translators. It works for websites. It works for other things. Those Westlaw and Lexis items, you can manually add them. It's easier if you're able to just grab them and pull them in, but you can always add anything you want to manually. Okay, let's do a New York Times search. We'll do same search, social networking. pull in any article. And you can see here up at the top it changed up to a little rolled up newspaper. So it automatically knows that that's what you're looking at. So we'll pull that in. You can see that it's saving it. All right, and then we'll do, you can also just pull in any website you're looking at. So we'll go to the Born Digital website and we'll pull that in. So this, there's no button up here. So it only knows of certain items that are able to pull in. For the things that there aren't translators, you have to go into Zotero itself, and there's a little button here. Oh, excuse me, this one. Create new item from current page. So you can see that it brought it in, and it knew because whoever created this website titled it Born Digital. So whatever they titled it, it'll pull in the title. You can add in the author yourself. So you can always put in any of these fields that you want to. You could put an abstract if you had one, or a website title. It does always capture the URL, and it captures the date that you accessed it. One of the other things that it captures is a snapshot. There's a button right here that says View Snapshot. If we click on that, notice up here at the top, this is now a locally stored copy of this website, so it's not going to change even if the site itself later changes. One of the neat things you can do then, we'll close this window, when you created or you saved one of these websites, you get some editing tools up here. So you can add an annotation, or you can highlight text. So we can decide we want to highlight this section right here. And those will stay highlighted for you. So when you go back in and look at that saved version. Frozen here. You can also manually add in any other item that's not necessarily a website. Right here with this little plus button. So I'm going to add in, it gives you the most common book section. You can also add more. You can see there's quite a few things that you can work with. There are some legal entries. There's case and statute. I should warn you, those don't really work all that well. It's very good with the secondary legal materials, and really it's not just legal, but any kind of research materials. The cases and the statutes and regs are a little iffy, but you can always go in and tweak them. So it's not perfect, but it's a very nice free tool. So I'm going to go and add a presentation. And I'm going to add an attachment this time so you can see what that looks like. You can either link to the file, which is stored locally on your hard drive, or you can have Zotero upload a copy to Zotero. So I'm just going to link to a file on my hard drive. And this is a PDF. Go back to the info, and I'll just give it a title. Okay, we go into it. One of the nice things that it does is it actually installs an indexer for the PDF document itself. So whatever the content of the PDF is, you'll be able to search on that content. And you have to know, that's a separate step. If you go here under the little gear icon, and if you go to preferences, that's a separate preference you have to enable to install the indexers. Okay. All right, so now we've got some stuff compiled in our library in this folder. The next we can do is, once we've got all those things, we can search on it. And it'll search across all of the contents, the title, the author, etc. It'll also search your tags, your notes. You can also search your notes and your attachments. So let's just search for social network. See what we get. So you can see that these are the items that have the term social networking in them. Let's see, a little one that might be a little better. So here's one with Facebook. So you can see that the attachment that I uploaded must have had the word Facebook in it, even though it was nowhere in the title or the author or the original. field itself. It also searches the New York Times snapshot, so the page that I captured from the web when I did the New York Times search, it captured that website, and it's also indexing, we can view that snapshot. And to do a search, we can see where the word Facebook came up, so it is actually pulling in those things. There's also an advanced search here with this little magnifying glass. And so let's say we want title contains foreign digital. And then we can add multiple fields to search on. So if we click on the little plus, we can say date is exactly, is not, is before, after 8, 6, and we'll do the search. And it pulls up those two things. We can actually then save the search. And it adds it down here as another folder. What I'll probably do is drag that folder up. I guess it won't let me do that. But every time I click on this, it will rerun that same search. So if you have certain searches that you want to run over and over, that's the way to do it. It's also got this nifty little feature called Create Timeline. And you can see here, so let's see here. Oh, right now it's only running it from the search that I did. Let's close that out and run a new. Put it in my whole Cali folder, and we'll rerun that, and we'll create a timeline. We'll do the year. So we can see these are all of my articles in the years that they fall in. So this, I think, would be nice if somebody was doing like a historical comparison, some sort of research project. It would be a nice feature to compare those. Okay, so once you've got the data in, you've kind of massaged it and searched it how you want it, you're going to want to output it somehow. Whether or not you're creating a bibliography for a faculty member or doing your own research and want to create a Word document with footnotes in it. So that's the next step. If we right-click on the Cali folder, we can generate bibliography from collection. And I installed the Bluebook citation style. It's not automatically installed. It's still an experimental style. So you have to go to the Cali website, and there's a support link on there, and you have to install the Bluebook. Oh, I'm sorry, Zotero. So you have to install that separately. It's not automatically installed for you. So we'll hit OK. And we'll go back into Word and paste it in. So you can see here that all the citations, roughly in Bluebook format. This is where you'd need to go in for some of the cases and things and maybe massage it a little bit because it's not entirely perfect, but it does a pretty nice job. We'll create a new, mostly Bluebook doesn't really do bibliographies. I mean, this is nice if you want to just present somebody with a list of stuff. But if you're actually wanting to do writing yourself, or if you're working with a faculty member in this, there are some add-ins right here. And they show up in the top over here. So if we want to have some text, and let's say I want to put a footnote here, and I want to grab something in my Zotero list, an item I want to cite something. So it's telling me, okay, do you want Bluebook style? Yes. Do you want it footnote or endnote? I'll leave it as a footnote. And I want to cite, let's see, this item right here. So I select it and I tell it what page number are you pinpoint citing to. So we'll say 56. And I'll hit OK. And you can see it put in a footnote number 1. And then down here at the bottom, it automatically put that Bluebook formatted citation in. Now I can also, if I've got multiple citations in my footnote, I can select multiple sources down here at the bottom. And let's say I want this one. I'll put the little arrow over this one. And this is a page 5, and this one is page 3. Okay, and I've got my footnote number 2, and down there is my Bluebook citation for those 2 items. pretty nifty. You could also create an entire bibliography using this button here. It doesn't work with Bluebook style because Bluebook doesn't really use bibliography. But if you were using one of the other citation styles, you could insert a bibliography in. You could change it. There's the little gear icon. If you were using Bluebook and then somebody tells you, oh, you should have been using MLA, you can go in and it flips them off for you automatically. If you've changed something, you can update. If you've created your Word document, you put in your footnote, and then later you go back and you've had a change, maybe you added in another author or something, you can click on this update button, and it will automatically pull those updates from your tutorial. Yeah, okay. One of the new features that is exclusively available in that beta version is the availability of syncing. Used to, it would only work, it would store the files on your local machine. Now you can sync them up to the Zotero site, and you can access your files from multiple computers. And that's this little button right here, this sync. You have to create an account on the Zotero website so it knows where to upload your citations to, but then you can access it from anywhere. I showed this to our faculty probably sometime last year, I think in the spring, before they had this feature, and this was the one big stumbling block they had, is they couldn't then share with their research assistant, or they couldn't share between home and office. This little nice feature now allows them to do that. Another feature that they've just added with this new beta version is the availability to share files with groups of people. So let's say a group of students is tasked with, come up with a list of resources on X topic. You can create a group library. So right now this is my own personal Zotero library. But if I click here, instead of clicking on a new collection, I can click on new group. And that should take me to the Zotero site. I need to log in. And then we'll create a group name. Oh, I should have mentioned, you can either choose a private or a public membership. So if you want it wide open, or you can allow people with password access, or you can really lock it down to any degree that you like. And we could give a description. We'll skip through all these categories here, but here, private, public closed membership, or public open membership. So I'll just leave this one wide open. There's nothing I need to hide here. You could put in a photo if you want. We'll go ahead and save settings. Okay, so now if I go back into Zotero, it may take a little while, but under here, it's just added this under the group library section. So you can see there's nothing in there right now. What I can do is I can go in to my Cali, I can copy the whole list, and I can drag it over here. So it's very much like iTunes where you can copy and drag. So now my group list should have all those items in it. And I should be able to go up here, and it may take, there's sometimes a little lag time for the items to get in there. But nope, they pulled them right in. So now this is a website where anybody can go in and look at them. But if there are other members of my group, they can also dump citations into this list as well. One of the nice things that I like to do is when I create a bibliography for a faculty member, I need to give it to them somehow. So I go in with another program called Zots, and that is the add-on program. It allows you to take your list and create a very nice looking web database with it that you can then share with the faculty member or with anybody else who wants to share the information with. They can't edit it, but they can massage it and resort it as they'd like. So we'll go back into Zotero, and to my Cali folder again. And if I click on the little gear icon here, there's an option to export to CiteLine. Zots offers you a way to take your items here and put them into an MIT CiteLine page. Let's try that again. I found that if you have your Zotero window open, it kind of clogs up, so I'm going to try that again. You have to close it really quick. So export to CiteLine again. I'll close this window, and now it should appear on the full screen. So you can see here there were 29 publications. And if I go and I can select different styles, I can select bookworm, and it'll change the header at the top. I'm gonna choose essential just so you can see more of the screen, but you can make it look as nice as you want to. You can change the title. You can give it a subtitle. And when I'm sharing a list with faculty, I usually will put my name in there. And then we can sign in to claim the exhibit. So I'm going to sign in with my email address. And then you have to have a password. So you do have to set up an account with CiteLine to be able to do this, but it's free. And then we can go in and you can see here how there's all these faceted, you can sort them. Let's say I don't really need the box to be this big, so I can shrink it up a little bit. And I think I want year to be first, so I can move these around as much as I'd like. If I want to add a new facet in, let's say I want, for some reason, pages to be added in, I could put a new facet there, or I could delete it if I don't want that. I can sort how I'd like. So if I want to sort first by, let's say, publication type. So let's say the faculty member wants it grouped into articles and books and divided those up into sections. I can check that as the first sort, and I can hit group by sorted, and so it will put them in, here's the articles, and then the book should come, and then miscellaneous, whatever's next. If I click on the preview, this is how I share it. Click on this preview button. It gives me it's a very stable URL, so I can share it. So this is the URL that I'll then send to a faculty member if I want to give them this bibliography. And they can resort it, and so if they only want things from 2002, or they can uncheck that. So they can massage this data how they like, but they can't change the data inside it. You can also, if you mouse over in the middle here, there's a little orange scissors. If you click on that, you can pull this HTML out and put it into your own website if you want to have your own list of items. You can also do it into several other formats as well. Okay, so that's Zotero and Zots. I know it was a lot of technical stuff I threw at you. Any questions on anything? Yes?
So what is the relationship to CiteLine and Zots? I missed that.
Zots is just the name of the Firefox plugin that does this function.
Okay,
yeah, I'm not sure who created it or why they called it Zots, but basically it's just a tool that gets you. Yeah, before you install Zots, if you click on this little gear icon, this export to CiteLine doesn't show up. But once you install it, that's where it shows up. So that's Zots. The other ones I'm just going to kind of briefly talk about what they are. I'm not really going to show them too much. There are a couple of different categories, and these are the ones that other law librarians recommended to me, most of which I'd never heard of before I did this. There's ones that do kind of clip and copy, ones that are have search features, one that's for language, and a couple of them that are specific to libraries. So the first one is called clip marks. Basically, you can kind of see, it takes a website and it allows you to click on certain sections of it, and it just clips those sections. So it doesn't save the entire website, but only those. So let's say I clicked here, there was an image, and I clicked on that, and it clipped it. I could have, you can see there's a little green bracket right here. I copied that first paragraph and clipped it, so then that was clipped as well. Once I get that clipping, I can then email it, I can save it, I can send it out however I'd like. The next one is Iterazi, which is a really nice site or tool for archiving websites. Basically, you take a website and you click on Iterazi, it installs a couple of extra buttons up into your toolbar, and you archive the site, but it calls it notarized, which gives it a kind of a legal connotation here. You're notarizing that this website existed on the day that you captured it, and this is exactly what it looked like. And it does work for dynamic sites as well. I was in Westlaw, and I was looking at a case, and it clipped the whole case as I was looking at it. And the links worked. If I clicked on one of the links in Westlaw, it then prompted me to log in. But the page that I was looking at that I clipped, you didn't need a password to be able to see that particular case. You can add tags, you can add notes, you can even create an RSS feed based on the things that you've clipped. You can email them. So it's a pretty handy little gadget. The next one is called Evernote Web Clipper. People know what Evernote is? Couple do? Yeah, Evernote is great. This isn't Evernote. This is just like an add-on to Evernote. But what Evernote is, it's a note-taking tool that allows you to either create your own notes, just text-based. You can clip a whole web page. You can clip a picture. You can clip attachments. Basically, anything you want to save, you can dump into Evernote, and you can tag it. You can search it. It sorts it by date. But what this Evernote Web Clipper does is it installs into your Firefox browser the ability to right-click and add to Evernote. So it automatically grabs the page that you're looking at, or if you're just on a graphic, it pulls in the graphic automatically. So you don't have to log into Evernote. Yeah.
Is this a file you have to pay for?
Nope, this one's free.
No
Evernote
money.
itself is free as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really a nice tool. This next one is a very simple tool, but it's really useful. It's called Copy Plain Text, and it does what it says, what the title says. If you're out on a website, and I find this when I write a blog for our library, and sometimes I'm out searching for something and I want to copy it, but it adds in all this weird formatting when I go to paste it into the blog. If you install Copy Plain Text, it just strips out all the extra weird formatting and allows you to just copy it like that. Search Box Edition, this one was, it's not just one thing called Search Box Edition, it's a bunch of different tools that allow you to add customized searches to your Firefox search pull-down. There's one for Lexis, and there's a separate one for Westlaw that allow you to just, if you click on that, you can put in citation, and it'll take you directly, after you put in your password, but it'll take you directly to that citation. There are some for Bing and Wolfram Alpha. There's a ton of these. I just put in a couple that I thought more useful for legal research. And then there's a kind of a nice one, it's called Add to Search Bar. And it basically allows you to take any website with a search box and add that. So you can see here there's one called Wisconsin Briefs. On our website we have a search engine for Wisconsin Briefs, and it allows me to do a direct search just for that site. This one I'm not going to try and pronounce. Anybody have any clue what I'm pronouncing? ABC something. It allows you to highlight any item that word you're trying to spell that has any extra accents or foreign characters, and you simply right-click, and this works for Thunderbird too, and allows you to insert those foreign characters. It also works with mathematical symbols, all sorts of different things. It unfortunately does not have the legal symbol that I could find, or legal section symbol, which would have been useful, I thought, but I didn't see it. Another thing it does is, and I found this useful when I'm blogging as well, if you go into Westlaw and you're trying to capture a title and it's in all caps, it allows you to flip that over to lowercase letters. Or if you're lowercase and you want it all caps, you can flip it over that way too. The next couple are more library related. Bookburrow, does anybody use Bookburrow? Whenever you're looking at Amazon, I think it works with any other vendors as well. But you can click on it and you can see other vendors that have the same item and how much they cost. It doesn't work with all of them. WorldCat right now is a little odd. It's supposed to put in the local library, the closest library to you that has it. The developer knows that there's some weirdness, so is working on fixing it. But if you click on the WorldCat button, it will take you to the item in WorldCat, so you can look at it for yourself. The next one is LibX, and this is not an add-on in itself, but it is a tool that lets libraries create their own add-ons, so that you can search the local library catalog. So you would maybe install this on your public workstations, or you could give it to your students, and you could say, here, add this add-on, and it would put a local library catalog search inserted into their Firefox browser. And that's it. Does anybody have any other ones they want to recommend, or any other questions? Yeah?
I have a few. Fireshot.
Fireshot, what does that do?
Takes a screenshot of the internet page, read it later, save pages for later.
Okay, so Fireshot.
Scrapbook.
Scrapbook, what does Scrapbook do?
You scrape web pages.
Oh, okay, allows you to scrape web pages, okay. Let's see. Let's take a look at it. There's also another little search bar add-on. You can search for just Mozilla add-ons, which I found very useful. So what was the first one?
Fireshot.
Fireshot. Okay, so it creates screenshots of websites. So this is the page, the Mozilla page that I was talking about, that allows you to see what they are. It tells you about them, and it usually will give you some images of it, what it looks like when it's going to be installed, so you can kind of know what you're in for.
Another one that I really like a lot is Update Scanner.
Update Scanner.
You can monitor web pages for updates. So if they don't provide RSS feeds, it's telling you whenever the
Oh,
add-on
okay.
is turned on. I monitor the Kali lessons, it's telling me every time.
Oh, if there's something, oh, that's handy.
I bookmarked several other sites that whenever you start Firefox, it's going to give you automatically an update.
Okay.
I'm showing you the previous page and the new page with highlights. Yeah, it's really nice. I have lots of Firefox add-ons. I'm using them for portable applications, and I categorize them for push services, internet safety, legal research, and some other things.
Oh,
And another one that I like is hyperwords. It makes every word on the web interactive. Hyperwords.
What is hyperwords? So you click on it, and where does it take you?
It will take you whatever it is to explain what it is and what it does.
Oh, okay. Explains it.
I noticed one of the ones that you were looking at had Firefox and it had Windows. So some of these add-ons aren't Mac compatible.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites is IE Tab.
Yes, that one is
That
on the
one
list,
is
I know.
absolutely wonderful, but is not Mac compatible.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of these also have IE extensions as well, but the ones that I'm talking about today are strictly PC Firefox.
I also like link checker. It's telling you what links are bad on the
What's it called?
page.
Link checker. I'm writing these down. I will add them to the list of the law librarian recommended.
Sketching and creating drawings, wonderful with the browser, pencil.
Pencil.
It's really wonderful. You create diagrams and it's very intuitive, wonderful. Refractor for a prism. You can create applications the way you do it in Google Chrome. Where you drag a tab so you create a formula like an application for many of the tabs. And that's Refractor.
Refractor,
So
okay.
you can create the same thing in Firefox. I like some of them that relate to Google Docs if you use Google. Send
Okay.
to Google Docs and some of the others.
One of the ones I find helpful is Xmarks.
Xmarks.
And basically you can synchronize your bookmarks to Firefox on any computer.
Oh,
All you
nice.
do is you log in, you do an Xmarks add-on, you log in, and then it'll pull all your bookmarks.
Oh, very nice.
Do you use, I like that it's configured for our workstation open URL monitorer. You take for
Yep.
your bibliographic citation, so you put your when you innovative. I just asked our IT person to
tried that one. I was gonna show that one today, and I couldn't get it to work right, so that's why I didn't show it. It's on the list, though.
It's very, I mean, what's the meaning?
Okay, so maybe I just didn't configure something right.
In Wikipedia, it was beautiful.
Okay.
On the medical sites where we have citations, it's working wonderful.
Okay. Well, good to know. Did I see hand back there? Yeah.
On the Zotero thing, to the extent that anybody in this room is creating content, the great thing about it is that it's going to recognize double for metadata, and it'll recognize coins and other things like that. So I think that we should sort of proactively publish our content that uses that kind of stuff, because then it will not only pull in the obvious URL and date and things like that, you can start pulling in subject headings, abstracts, authors, and stuff like that. So we're putting it out there so that people can also leverage
Yeah,
Zotero, which is a great
absolutely.
tool.
Yeah, that's great.
And all the subject headings are tags and so forth.
Yes, exactly. I didn't mention that, but that's true too.
What are all the formats that Zotero exports to right now? Can you create
Pretty much anything. There is a hugely long list. I'll show you these. We go into this Zotero site. Because I'm still searching for plugins. If you go under support, that's where you'll need to install the Bluebook, also the MS Word installs, the add-ins. This is where you'll find those as well. Let's see. Here's the word processor integration. Styles and standards, compatible styles. There's a lot of them. You can see there's just, they go on and on and on.
So how can you export your collections?
Oh, how can you export your collections? Oh, this one is
What do you export them to? In the
Oh, that's a
2.0.
good question.
And can you import?
Yes, you can import
What
other,
format?
there is an import and export. I haven't experimented with that too much. I'm not, to tell you the truth, I'm not really sure what formats you can import them from. Oh, here we go.
They're from, yeah.
Okay. And then you can export as well. Any other, yes?
A few months ago, I thought I wrote a blog post about litigation involving ProQuest and some of the other vendors, and I think George Mason, and I was
Yes.
wondering how that was resolved, and if we need to worry about that in terms of.
The case was dismissed, just like in the last week or so. Yeah, there was Westlaw, or Thompson West's, was suing George Mason, because they thought it was copying the EndNote format, but the case was dismissed.